It's crazy to think how just 2 years ago, he was one of the most important players on that Manchester United team. Now, fast forward to 2 years later, and he's under a manager who has made it clear he has no future at the club. It's so bad now that Manchester United's new coach, Ruben Amorim, states that even though the team is losing, he'll stick with the same players he's got and leave Rashford out. So where did it all go wrong for Marcus Rashford then? And what the heck happened to him? It should have been different. Given the 2022-23 season he had, everyone expected Marcus Rashford to kick on and become not just one of the most important players for United, but the best in the country. I mean, the winter before, he'd been at the World Cup begging for England. Even the then Manchester United coach, Erik ten Hag, was full of praise for Rashford. See guys, the thing is, Rashford was in a position where the club had just lost Cristiano Ronaldo over a saga that enveloped the team, and they needed someone to step up. As the stats show that season, he certainly did. He had 30 goals and 9 assists in all competitions, and was part of the United team that won the Carabao Cup that season. All indicators were pointing to even more success in the coming season, but it's safe to say that never happened. To say that Marcus Rashford has been under the spotlight for negative reasons this season would be an understatement. But what exactly is the issue with himself and the new man, Ruben Amorim? To start with, it's the attitude.
The reason is the training. The way I see what a footballer should do in training, in life, and is every day. So if things don't change, I will not change. It's the same situation for every player. If you do the maximum, if you do the right things, we can use every player. And you can see it today on the bench. We miss a little bit like pace to go, to change the game, to move some pieces. But I prefer like that. I will put Vital before I put a player that don't give the maximum every day. So
this right here, guys, this interview, it's huge for so many reasons. The first thing Ruben Amorim talked about was the training sessions. See guys, he's made it clear. Ruben Amorim will only use players who are interested in giving 100% to the team in and out of the training facilities. Players who are dedicated to the cause. And so far, it's been looking like Marcus Rashford doesn't fit that criteria. If you're Marcus Rashford, then this doesn't look good at all. It's been 9 years since he made his debut and instant impact in that United team in 2016. 9 years is enough time to clearly say that Marcus Rashford understands the standards that Manchester United as a club goes by. And yet, from the reports, he's been acting like a guy who just joined the club only 6 months ago. Again, the manager has made it very clear. If Rashford doesn't train well, then he doesn't play. That simple. But now it seems Ruben Amorim has more issues with Marcus Rashford that go beyond his training levels.
And they are big boys. They have kids, so they decide what to do. I think the main question here is us as a club have to set the standards.
If we're being honest, this is where the whole situation started, after the club had announced the sacking of Erik ten Hag and the appointment of Ruben Amorim. Within that period, the players had 5 days off to go on holiday, and Rashford's choice and idea to spend his break was to head out to the United States. So what's the deal with this then?
I have to ask you this because I've made a comment this week about Casemiro and Marcus Rashford travelling to America in their few days off. And it was just me thinking as a Manchester United player when I played here that you've got a few days off, the club are 13th in the league, the manager has just been sacked, it's a challenging part of the season and the new manager is about to come in, and that focus and preparation and not every single little detail is really important. And I said I don't think I would have chosen that trip to go to America with the time difference. I did get it wrong, I think they went to New York rather than Portland, so I apologise for that. But there's still a 5-6 hour time difference, they're on planes, Casemiro's 30 years of age. Are you comfortable with that?
The first thing, it was 5 days off. The second thing, they received the information of 5 days off.
I'll play that clip back seconds earlier. It's Manchester United, the most commercially marketable club in England, and they're 13th in the league, struggling to perform, and have just sacked the manager. Everything Gary Neville said. I mean, on Marcus Rashford's part, to deceive his destination of holiday would be as far as the United States when the team is in a difficult situation, that's a lot. You could argue that footballers are free to live their lives and do whatever they want when they get free days. But then again, it's the understanding of the times. Before we continue though, if you're at this point of the video and still haven't subscribed to Goal Air, then you're missing out. Right guys, back to Marcus Rashford now. And the logic is simple. If this was a Liverpool player doing this, flying out to the United States on holiday while the club is top of the league and top of the Champions League, to a certain extent the reasoning would be different. That player has earned the break. On Rashford and United's part, the club was struggling, and he just added more chaos to an already developing situation. It wasn't just Rashford too. Casemiro was also involved. And to support the point I made earlier about Rashford, there are even reports suggesting now that Casemiro would leave the club on loan this summer. Right, we've talked about the training levels and his attitude, so what is the other thing keeping Marcus Rashford out of the team then? Another dicey one, his lifestyle choices. Ruben Amorim time and time again has emphasized the need for his players to set the standard, and this goes off the pitch too. The places they attend and the choices they make, would players rather party on days off than focus on trying to get game time? He's checking all that, and once again, Marcus Rashford isn't hitting this checklist. From all indicators so far, Rashford's time at Manchester United is closer to being over than it is to his staying.
However, there are certain things that you do to assert your authority, and on this occasion, I think in terms of the way people at the club, not the players, but the people at the club, and certainly former players like myself, look at a coach who comes out and says that, is absolutely 100% wrong.
Oh, really?
All he had to say was, nothing's changed on that front. That's all he had to say. I think it tells you more about Amorim, that he's coming out and trying to be clever.
This is another side to the debate. While the focus has been on Marcus Rashford so far, there could be a reason to believe Coach Amorim is being extra hard on him. Like Steve Nichols said, if he'd just come out to address the situation by saying nothing has changed in that regard, it probably would have been okay. But instead, he went the extra mile just to send a message. But then again, you can't blame him. This has been a recurring theme at Manchester United since Sir Alex Ferguson. The likes of Jose Mourinho and even Erik ten Hag have all left the club on account of falling out with players. Remember the Pogba and Mourinho incident? Yeah, this one. Well, a few months later, Jose was sacked, and Pogba sort of picked up the most impressive form of his Manchester United career before leaving. We're bringing this up because, at the time, a certain Portuguese was learning his trade under Jose.
We know you worked with Mourinho, you were his apprentice at one point in your career. How special was it to work with the special one?
It was special because more than the trainings, the time during lunch, speaking about the way he engaged with the players, the experience in different clubs, winning titles when he lose, everything was really important to understand the...
Ruben Amorim. He was working as Mourinho's apprentice, and seeing how that particular incident ended, guess he's learned from that and isn't trying to fall into the same category. By the time this video gets out, the transfer window would have closed, and there'd be a real possibility that Marcus Rashford isn't a Manchester United player anymore. Rumors of a potential move to the likes of Barcelona, AC Milan, and even Borussia Dortmund have all been mentioned, but so far, nothing is concrete yet. For a guy who just 2 years back was one of the best players in the country, to not even make the matchday squads now, this is a huge falloff. On his part, Marcus Rashford continues to support the team. You see posts about him hyping up the team when they win games, and this just gives you the idea that he still loves the team. Either that or the PR is good. What do you guys think? Is Ruben Amorim being too hard with Rashford on this situation? Is there something more going on that the world doesn't know yet? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to Goal Air too.